He is a god of the game.
This weekend was all about the clash of the cities. Liverpool versus Manchester in England and Madrid versus Barcelona in Spain. Did PSG and Bayern hit a minor blip in their league titles pursuit? Who's going to join Delhi, Chennai and Bangalore in IPL's top 4? And Indian star batter Smriti continues to show why she is the best in the world right now. Let's go!
Absolutely world class.
Hello and welcome to episode 37 of Sports Charcha, and this is an episode where we are going to talk about a lot of upsets. In fact, we have a separate section we are going to dedicate for upsets, but there is also some great test cricket action to discuss, and to do all that, let's welcome Ishan to the pod.
Hey guys, my team was part of the upset, so not very excited about that section, but excited to be here and talking to Bala today.
Today is 5th October, Tuesday night. Well, we couldn't record yesterday, not because of the Facebook outage, but we had a bit of time to absorb what was a thoroughly entertaining 2-2 draw between Liverpool and Manchester City at Anfield. To be honest, Liverpool started very poorly. The first half, I was surprised to see it ended 0-0. But the second half, Liverpool came back as a totally different team, and that Salah's second goal, man, wow. I just got off the chair and it was one of those moments where I lost it.
And I think we spoke about this, Liverpool versus City is one of the new rivalries we have in, English football. And it's always an exciting game. And you said it correctly, like that goal, it's one for the ages, because it's not a long ranger that, you hit it and then hope for the best. This was an individual beating about 5 defenders with just sheer footwork and then placing it across the goalkeeper, and a good goalkeeper at that. And it was just one of those Anfield moments that, we all cherish in football, that will be on YouTube videos for years to come. YouTube, you search epic Anfield moments, and now this will be a moment there attached to that, along with all the Torres goals. So I think it was great. What a game, but let's not discount City's contribution as well in that game. They, as you said, completely dominated the first half, but it was the end-to-end throughout. And my big man of the match goes to Rodri at the end.
Yeah.
With an unbelievable block of a Fabinho shot at an open goal. He put his body to the line and blocked, which would have been surely a winner for Liverpool. So unbelievable game.
Yeah, but to be fair, we need to give a lot of credit to City also, especially 2 players who stood out for me were Phil Foden and Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva, this guy was supposed to leave City the start of this season. He was about to leave. There were news that he told the City management that he wanted to leave, but this guy has a new lease of life again as a holding midfielder, as a central midfielder. This guy is a proper joker. Again, had a brilliant game. Milner had a torrid time against him. We all thought Grealish will start on the left, but again Pep made a slight change. He played Grealish as the number 9 or the false 9, whatever you call it, and put Foden against Milner, and Milner he couldn't handle Foden. In fact, I was surprised to see Milner on the pitch. He should have received the second yellow for that challenge against Bernardo Silva. He was very lucky. See, Pep is a great coach. He's one of the greatest coaches we have ever seen. But when he is angry, when he is frustrated on the touchline, it's a sight to see.
Yeah, and you could actually watch an entire game, I feel, watching Pep or Diego Simeone, and you'll know what the result is like, because they're so animated, so passionate, and especially in big games like this, you get the best out of them, and and I think you're completely right on that. Playing Grealish up front, I think, was a mistake, because it's typical Pep. Put someone in there, put someone in a wrong position in the biggest game of their lives or in their careers at a club, and see how they do. He tried it with Foden last year and it worked really well, but he did it with Grealish, and I think Grealish was pretty useless across the game. It was all about Phil Foden.
Yeah. Yes, as I said, this was a brilliant game, ended 2-2, and I would say I was a little satisfied with the result, especially after the way the first half went. both the teams will be happier. In fact, especially just before the international break, you don't want to end it with a loss. So a draw is a fair result for this game. But this week was a clash between two cities basically. It's a clash between Liverpool, the city of Liverpool, and the city of Manchester, because the second contest happened at Old Trafford between Manchester United and Everton, which also ended in a draw 1-1. Goals from Anthony Martial and poor man's Cristiano Ronaldo, Andros Townsend. Ole is Ole is in trouble. Ole to me is in trouble. In fact, Manchester United have insane fixtures following the international break. I'll just read out the fixtures, especially the league fixtures they have after the international break. Leicester, Liverpool, Spurs, City, Watford, okay, Chelsea and Arsenal. And in the Champions League, they are playing Atalanta twice and Villarreal away.
Wow, that's not very good.
See, I'm fine with the starting lineup. Okay, he didn't start Ronaldo, he started Cavani, he didn't start Pogba. Those are all fine. But once again, what he sees in Fred, I don't understand that.
What anyone sees in Fred, I don't understand right now. But I think this is one of the things we spoke about when the season started. It's going to be Manchester United's midfield that is going to let them down, because if you look at their forward line, some way or the other, they are strong enough to score goals if they are given the right support and the right opportunities. You saw it with Martial, like he's been having a torrid time of it, and he slotted in a really well taken goal just because he was given the ball at the right time. But then after that goal, United just shut shop. Like they became absolutely toothless, and Everton had their way. And Townsend scored, mocked Ronaldo in a way, or paid respect to him. I'm a little confused about that, by celebrating the trademark Ronaldo way. But the results are not going their way. That they're not scoring enough goals and they're leaking goals. Something what we thought would be their strength, which is their defense. So there's lots of flaws. Now you can point towards Ole, because now you've got the team. Now why aren't you getting the results?
Chelsea ended their mini losing streak by beating Southampton 3-1. Timo Werner scored finally. I saw a stat where 16 of his goals after joining Chelsea were taken off by VAR. Poor guy, but still managed to score. Chelsea managed to win. They are on top of the table with 16 points after 7 games. Liverpool still unbeaten, but they are on 15 points. Second position, City third and United fourth. This top 4 pretty much remained the same as we predicted during the beginning of the season. But it is turning out to be a 3-team league title chase rather than 4 teams. Actually, I feel United are slipping away from this. We'll see what's going to happen post international break. United have some really tough fixtures. To end the English Premier League part, Watford have officially fired their head coach Xisco Muniz, and they have replaced with Claudio Ranieri, the famous Leicester City manager who won the league title with Leicester City. He is back as Watford's manager. And that's about it for this section. In the next section, we will talk about all the upsets that happened across Europe. In the previous section, we were talking about the clash between the cities of Liverpool and Manchester in England. Well, it was the clash between the cities of Barcelona and Madrid in Spain. And one of them kind of ended in an upset. Espanyol defeated Real Madrid 2-1. Real's first league loss this season. In fact, they had a torrid week. It started with a draw against Villarreal, then the loss to Sheriff in Champions League. And this, Ishan, is there a problem in defense? I still don't think Ancelotti knows his best back four yet.
I think the problem in defense is that it doesn't exist right now for Real Madrid, and we knew that because you can't replace Varane and Ramos and then expect some miracles in their first season. They got in Alaba, but Alaba in his last years with Bayern Munich was more of a defensive holding midfielder than a centre back, and he's actually never been a centre back. What Ancelotti did smartly at the beginning of the year was he paired up Militao and Alaba as centre defence, and it worked wonders. But then sometimes, at least in the last week, he's been moving Alaba around, especially putting him in on left wing to basically help in the help Alaba and Madrid go forward. Now, while he can do that really well, that creates a lot of open spaces for the opposing team to attack the likes of Nacho and Militao, and that's exactly what happened against Espanyol. Espanyol just waited. They just waited for Real Madrid to get tired and lose momentum or lose concentration, and they hit them on the counter. The first goal by Raul de Thomas, who's by the way an ex-academy player of Real Madrid, was a wonderfully taken counter-attacking goal. Yet again, we tried our comeback. We left it too late this time. Benzema scored again. But yeah, we have to get, Ancelotti has to take this international break to get his mind straight about how he wants to set up his defense. Because, we're not going to score 4 goals every game. And if we don't, what we really did well against Zidane was we didn't concede at all. So we only used to win by 1 goal, but we used to win the league. That's something that Ancelotti needs to focus on.
And there is also, it seems to be there's an over-reliance on Benzema for goals. He's doing an excellent job. In fact, he's having the time of his life. He's already scored, 7, 8 goals in the league? He's by far...
9 goals.
Wow, 9 goals in 8 games. And 7 assists or 6 assists or something like that.
7 assists, yes.
Yeah. He's single-handedly dragging them forward, but Real Madrid need to find other solutions quickly. But on the other side, where Atletico Madrid played against Barcelona and they defeated 2-0. Now, this is an upset because the way Barcelona played, and on the other hand, Koeman is still Barcelona's manager. Laporta came out and said, well, technically the subtext was we couldn't find a replacement, or we can't pay that 12 million clause to Ronald Koeman if we fire him. So he is going to be our manager. And Koeman has treated this Barcelona team this particular season as his mini project where he is trying all various random formation. Frankie de Jong play him in a winger role. And this was such a horrible game, man.
But you saw the game, right? Like, what do you think? Did Atletico dominate, or was it Barcelona just being Barcelona of this season?
Atletico dominated. It's a combination of both, but more Atletico's domination than Barcelona being Barcelona. But see, again, the starting 11, they could only do this much. To be very honest, there isn't much that Barcelona could do to threaten Atletico. And Atletico also got into their stride. Suarez came in really well. In fact, he scored a goal and set up 1 goal. And he had a very iconic, this phone call celebration pointing at Koeman, but later he came out and said that I didn't do it to taunt Koeman, it was a different celebration, blah blah blah, he did that. But yeah, credit to Atletico, it was 2-0, but it was one of those easy 2-0s that you will see. Barcelona never had any chance, and it was a no contest, and it was very clear that Atletico was a superior side, and Barcelona, yes, they are where they are, and the table as it stands, Real Madrid are on top with 17 points. Atletico Madrid second with 17 points. In fact, Real Sociedad also are on 17 points. In fact, Sociedad and Sevilla had their chance to go on top of the table, but both of them, I think Sociedad lost their game, and Sevilla also lost their game to Granada. So that's for La Liga. Now, talking about the other massive upset in France, in Ligue 1, PSG lost to Rennes 2-0. PSG had 0 shots on target, and they had Messi, Mbappe and Neymar playing in this game. In fact, Di Maria also played.
Yeah, I think it's an anomaly. They've been undefeated all season. They won every single game. I won't probably look too much into it. Messi had a great game. But if there is a worry I have to look at, it's probably going to be what's happened to Neymar.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even December. It's not even his sister's birthday as yet. What's up with him? Like, because he looks so ineffective right now. It's going to be a big cause of concern, especially when, say for example, if one of the other two get injured or need a break, you need Neymar to step up. It doesn't help that after the game there was the big, press or an interview revealed by Mbappe saying what he did about PSG, where he said that I wanted to leave much earlier than what they claimed. That's not going to be very helpful for the team morale. So I don't know how PSG will come back after the break, but the league is almost it's still not a big challenge for them. It's going to be how they're going to do it in the Champions League.
Yeah, to round off all the upsets, Bayern finally lost at home. I think this is their first loss in like 30 odd games at home. They lost to Frankfurt 2-1. It was a game of two goalkeepers, I would say. If you look at the game, the Frankfurt goalkeeper Kevin Trapp made 3-4 outstanding saves, like absolutely out of the world saves. And Neuer also made a couple of good saves, but the second goal that Bayern conceded, 99 out of 100 times Neuer would have saved it. It was one of those days where he couldn't time his dive properly to save that shot. Again, as you said, for PSG, I also feel for Bayern, this is a one-off game. And I really feel sorry for the team that they are going to face after the international break, because it's going to be a massacre.
Yeah, and 90, as you said, 99 times out of 100 they play Eintracht Frankfurt. They're going to win. They're going to win and probably thrash them. So this was just a one-off. And Kevin Trapp, as you said, if he had shown such kind of form when he played for Dortmund, their success, they would have had different stories written about their destiny. But great game for him. But yeah, it's an upset looking at the form, but it won't probably impact the season.
Great, so that's about it for all the football action. In the next section, we'll talk about India-Australia Test match. Indian women continue their series against Australia down under. After playing the 3 ODIs, they played the one-off test match. Well, women's test match is actually a 4-day test match, not a 5-day test match. And this one, after a lot of rain interruptions, we actually could get technically only 3 days of action. Indian women started off very well. Smriti Mandhana finally scored a century. I mean, she had a lot of 80s in her career, and I was actually waiting for her to cross that mental block and score a century, which she did. And what an innings it was. If you could catch the highlights of it, watch it. I mean, it's Smriti Mandhana. It will have a lot of glorious shots, and it was a wonderful innings. She scored 127. Shafali Verma played really well. Deepti Sharma scored 66. Australian women followed. They scored 241 for 9. They also declared. And then Indian women scored 135 and Australia scored 36. So it was a lame draw in the end. If they had maybe one more day, this could have turned into at least an exciting game. If not a result, at least an exciting game. So hopefully they take this into account. And to add one more point, this was a pink ball test match. This was a day and night test match. So apart from the batters, the bowlers also actually played really well. In fact, our seamers picked up most of the wickets. First innings, out of the 9 wickets, 7 or 8 were picked up by our seamers. Pooja Vastrakar, I think I spoke about her during our last pod or the pod before that. One of the future stars of Indian cricket. She picked up 3 wickets in the first innings and 1 in the second innings. So she seems to be the next one, the next big seamer after Jhulan Goswami. Jhulan, as we all know, is about to end her career. So hopefully we'll see more of Pooja in the future days. And after this test match, there's going to be 3 T20s, and that's going to start on 7th October. That is Thursday. Second one on 9th, and the series ends on 10th October with the third T20.
Yeah, I think just to end this point on cricket, I think, we could finish off on a really big high if we get some kind of a result. In the T20 series, let's not forget, guys, Australian women team, the cricket, probably if they face up against the men's team, will thrash them because they are that good. They're, other than the one victory that India had in the ODI, they've been undefeated by and large in all formats of the game. So if we get a result, we'll go away with really high momentum. So I'm really looking forward to that.
To round off this week's episode, we will obviously talk about the UAE Premier League. Well, actually the Indian Premier League happening in UAE. Like, we are about to come to the business end of IPL. All teams have played 13 games, barring one or two teams. We have Delhi Capitals, who are assured of a top two spot. CSK, RCB are qualified, but their top two spot is still not confirmed. Rajasthan Royals and SRH are confirmed out. Even Punjab are confirmed out. So it's between KKR and Mumbai Indians for the fourth spot. In fact, as we were talking, Mumbai Indians just thrashed Rajasthan Royals, like royally thrashed them, and they are on fifth right now only because of better or worse net run rate than KKR. So there are three games that are going to be very important. One is the game between KKR and Rajasthan Royals. Two, the game between Mumbai Indians and SRH. And three, the game between Royal Challengers Bangalore and Delhi Capitals. So these three games have a bit of a significance, but other than that, other games are not that great. So after this, we'll have the qualifier and then the eliminator and then the qualifier and then the finals. That's going to happen next week. So we will look forward to that. Hopefully we'll see a new winner here. I'm bored of looking at CSK and Mumbai Indians back and forth all this time. Hopefully this time we'll either see Delhi or RCB winning it.
Bala, tell me, I want your honest opinion. Don't you think that watching the games, in terms of the fans and the atmosphere in the UAE is not as exciting as it is watching it in India? There's something about the hue, the atmosphere that I just don't feel it. What do you think?
Yeah, it's obviously, I mean, Indian Premier League, if it happens in India, obviously there will be a lot of josh and a lot of energy from the crowd. I mean, imagine CSK versus Mumbai Indians at Wankhede or at Chepak, the crowd behind the team. That's a different atmosphere altogether. I mean, UAE, what I see is when there's a game in Dubai or in Sharjah, 50 to 60% of the crowd are mostly people who get tickets from corporates and all these guys coming and sitting, holding a flag, thinking that they're cheering for the team. It looks very artificial. It looks very manufactured. There is no josh in it. I mean, we understand it's the situation right now because of COVID, and also at one level, at least, we are able to have these games in UAE because this would not have been possible in India because of the situation we have here. So yeah, that life of IPL is being sucked out, but at least we're able to watch these games. So net, I'm okay with it, but not completely okay with it. And the fact that the World Cup is going to happen there, I'm not sure how that's going to turn out.
Yeah, because you're right about that. It was a nice segue because, when the World Cup happens, that is when you expect the entire, especially the people from all the teams representing to flock to Dubai and the UAE. I don't think that's going to probably happen this year at the volume we generally expect from a World Cup. So it will be very interesting. It's a little upsetting because it's a World Cup, right? Meaning, I know the T20 World Cup for me personally does not hold such a massive significance. But for a lot of people, especially the youngsters, it does, right? So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how that scopes and what how many viewers are on, say, a Hotstar watching that game.
Yeah. Hopefully the T20 World Cup turns out to be at least an exciting one. See, UAE have also opened up because of the Expo 2020 IPL, and hopefully for the World Cup they'll open up. But I don't expect a lot of fans to fly to UAE, to Dubai, especially during this time. But yeah, hopefully we'll see some crowd and some action, the fans bring in a lot of energy to the game, not just to the players. Even as someone who's watching the game like at home through television, crowd noise plays a major part in a game watching experience. So hopefully that happens.
Yeah, worst case scenario, they'll have to copy what Bollywood does at award ceremonies, randomly pre-edited crowd celebrations and make Shahid Kapoor clap when somebody's actually going out or getting injured. That will be funny.
I have seen that live. Once it happened in our college ground. I have seen that live, how they shoot award ceremony. It's damn funny, dude. That's about it for episode 37, guys. This was a short and a sweet episode as nothing much happened in the world of sports. But this week, there's a lot happening. Yes, club football is not there, but you have international football. UEFA Nations League, the Carabao Cup of international football is going to happen. There is a semi-finals tomorrow night between Italy and Spain, and day after tomorrow night, second semi-final between Belgium and France. Obviously, the winner of those two will meet in the finals. All that's happening in this week before our next podcast, not actually before our next podcast. By our next podcast, we'll talk about the semi-finals, and the finals are happening in the weekend. And then we have IPL, we have F1, the Istanbul Grand Prix happening this weekend. So we'll cover that. So until then, it's bye from Bala.
And bye from Ishan, guys. Have a great week ahead.
Thank you everyone for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, and also please, like we are literally begging, to rate our podcast on whichever app you are listening to. It not only helps us but also helps new listeners to find our podcast easily. You can also reach out to us on Twitter and Instagram @SportsCharcha. A big shout out to the Jam Room Audio for our theme music. You can follow the Jam Room on Facebook @the Jam Room Audio. Bye.
Absolutely